Jaques, you have made a magnificent film. Thank you very much, first of all, for making it.
I do my best sometimes.
When I saw this film at the Cannes Film Festival, I was very moved by many things, by the quality of your filmmaking, of course, but very simply by the fact that there was a migrant at the center of this story, and he was the protagonist, he was the hero of the story, and it wasn't about someone else trying to save him in a way. It was his story and his family's story, the fake family that they create. And I wonder if that was a challenge, or if that was a difficult thing to do, to essentially get rid of all of the people who usually get in the way of these stories and tell it your way.
Qu'est-ce que je peux dire que j'avais envie de parler Ça fait plusieurs fois que ça se produit, mais que j'ai envie de parler de gens qui ne sont pas moi.
It has happened a few times now, and I wanted to talk about people who are not like me.
Moi, je me connais,
I know myself, and
et je pense pas que ce soit très intéressant.
I'm not that interesting.
Donc, forcément, mon intérêt se porte vers des gens que je ne connais pas, des gens qui viennent de très loin, qui ont d'autres façons de parler, qui ont d'autres visages, d'autres regards que moi.
So I'm getting interested in some other kind of people who have different ways of looking at the world, different ways of talking about the world, different ways that are not mine. That's it.
Shoba, can you talk a little bit about your entry into this? You're a writer rather than a filmmaker or a film actor. Can you talk a little bit about how you decided to take on this role and the conversations you and Jaques and Thomas had about your character?
C'est un peu un résumé du tournage.
The shooting was like that.
எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம். இது நான் ஒன்றும் டிசைட் பண்ணுற அளவுக்கு நான் பெரிய ஆக்டர் எல்லாம் இல்லை. ஜாக் மேலே எனக்கு மிகுந்த நம்பிக்கை. நான் படம் செய்கிறதுக்கு முன்னுக்கே அவருடைய ஒரு ஃப்ரெண்ட். ஸோ அவர் கூப்பிட்டார், அவர் நம்பி அவரில் பார்த்த போட்டு நடிச்சார் தான்.
I'm not a professional actor, but I was a fan of Jaques. So when I knew it was his film, I had full faith in him, and I went forward on that trust.
I think I'd like to ask all of you what is, I'm sure, a question all of us are wondering about, is the current situation in France and in Europe generally with migrants. It's a very different situation than what's been talked about in this. Oh, do you want to translate? Okay. What's happening right now is not the same as what's in your film, but for me the question is how France and how Europe responds to migrants coming in. What is your opinion of what's happening now and what your film can do? Yes.
Personal opinion.
Your personal opinion, of course.
D'abord, ce film-là, l'idée de départ remonte à 4 ans.
Yeah, first I'd like to say that we had the first idea about that film like 4 or 5 years ago.
Et que la situation a
And the situation
changé.
has changed a lot, and we didn't see that coming, but we had that in mind.
Après, mon opinion personnelle,
But my personal opinion,
pour autant qu'elle vaille quelque chose,
if it's worth anything,
c'est que de toute façon, ça c'est une répétition.
is that it's just une répétition. Ça se répète.
It's just a rehearsal.
A rehearsal. That is just a rehearsal.
Warm up.
Yes.
C'est de toute façon le monde futur. C'est le monde futur.
Is changing and it's going to be like that.
Pas à 50 ans. Ça va
But in
être,
50 years,
ça va être voilà.
it's going to be like that now.
Il y a, je sais pas, en France, il y a un peu plus de 10 ans maintenant, on militait pour les sans-papiers.
10 years ago, we were doing some protests for the people who had no papers, you know, no identity cards or things like
On
that.
était juste en avance.
But we were just ahead of our time a little.
C'est tout ce que j'ai à dire.
That's all I have to say.
Thomas, would you like to add your thoughts on this?
No, yes, it's true that it's an idea that that came a long time ago, and that was before we made that film Rust and Bone. We had that idea of telling the story of a migrant, and you know, it's interesting to we don't think about the world economics or things. We think about one guy who's selling roses at the restaurant tables, or one guy, you know, we think about that. We think about one character. And if we think that character is interesting, then we will develop it. And then at one point, we can tell a story about that person. But we always think about one person. We don't think about the world. I don't know. We think about one character, and that's really how we manage that. And that's really the work we did here. And what we wanted, it was that you will never see a guy selling roses at your table the same way after you've seen the film. That was the original idea of the thing. It was not about the world situation of migrants.
Excuse-moi, sorry. L'idée c'était de quand même ces gens qu'on appelle les migrants.
The idea was that those people that we call migrants,
qui n'ont pas de nom, pas de
yeah,
visage.
no name, no faces.
C'était de donner un nom et un visage.
Just to give a name and a face to those people.
Et que le cinémascope.
And the cinemascope
soit comment juste le lieu d'apparition de ça.
Would be the place where that face will appear.
Et qu'on ne soit pas dans le documentaire.
It's not a documentary. Yeah, we will create a character based on those people.
C'est vachement beau ce qu'on vient de dire.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. I think we should get to some of your questions or comments. So if you've got a question for anyone on stage here, please raise your hand. If I can't see you, wave it around so I can get a better look. Who's got a question? We'll go right here. The question is about the authenticity of the film. She finds it very authentic and wondered if Shoba and the other actors helped to refine or work on the script as well.
C'est Shoba. Non, je sais pas. Je pense que c'est pas une histoire réaliste.
It's not a very realistic story.
Mais c'est peut-être une histoire vraisemblable.
But it's a story that you can believe in.
Et je sais, moi je vois une grande différence là-dedans, mais c'est vraiment du cinéma.
But it's really cinema.
Et voilà, je sais pas.
That's it. And Shoba made it. Merci.
Shoba, could you talk a little bit about what you contributed to the story, to fleshing out your character?
ஒரு ஹெல்ப்பும் பண்ணவும் இல்லை. அவர் ஏற்கனவே எழுதி வச்சிருந்த டயலாக்கை எங்களோட சிறுலங்கைக்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி மாற்றி கொடுத்தாங்க. வேறு வேறு இலங்கையை பற்றி அந்த லேண்ட்ஸ்கேப் பற்றி சின்ன சின்னதாக சொல்லப்போனால் அவன் ஒன்றுமே செய்யலை.
In my opinion, I didn't do much. He had a script ready, and I helped a little bit with the tightening of the dialogue to make it more akin to Sri Lankan slang and Sri Lankan Tamil. And then a little bit, I might have talked to him a little bit about the landscape in Sri Lanka and things like that. Just, in my opinion, very, very small help.
Okay, thank you. Time for a few more questions. Anyone back here? Is there someone up? Yes, please go ahead. Could you say that a little louder, please? How did you work together? You don't speak Tamil, he doesn't speak French.
I'm fluent in Tamil.
Just doesn't speak English.
So it's very easy.
Big deal.
Sorry. Moi, je pense que de toute façon, quand la question est posée de la direction d'acteurs,
when it comes to directing actors,
je pense que finalement, je me suis toujours dit que, enfin, ça fait un moment que je me dis que la direction d'acteur, c'est en fait parler le langage de l'acteur.
It's been a while since I've been thinking that directing an actor is like talking a foreign language. It's talking the language of the actor.
Et que l'acteur doit apprendre ma langue.
And the actor has to learn my language.
Si je travaille avec Vincent Cassel,
So if I work with Vincent Cassel,
je vais apprendre le Vincent.
I will have to learn the Vincent.
Et Vincent va apprendre le Jacques.
And Vincent will have to learn the Jaques.
Alors là, c'était à peu près la même chose.
In that case, it was basically the same thing.
Et il y a des cours accélérés.
Yeah, and there was accelerated courses. Yeah, we had to do it fast.
Bon, d'accord, j'ai fait un bide. Non, mais voilà, c'est ça, c'est pas... ce qui m'a vraiment plu, moi, dans l'entreprise, c'était d'abandonner ma langue,
But I really like that in the process of just forgetting my language.
Quand vous travaillez avec un acteur qui parle votre langue, vous allez comment suivre les intonations, le reprendre, lui dire là plus haut, là plus bas, ou là tu joues comme un cochon.
When you work with an actor in your own language, then you will follow the intonations of the voice, you will know the accents, you will know everything, and you will tell him, here it's not good. But
et là, c'était renoncer à ça.
I had to give that up.
Alors peut-être que les spectateurs tamouls dans la salle ont trouvé que Shoba jouait comme un cochon.
Maybe the Tamil audience will think that Shoba is not that good.
Actually, a good opportunity.
Mais moi, ça m'allait.
Is there anybody in the audience who speaks Tamil, is from the Tamil community in Toronto, who would like to ask a question? Please.
Yes.
One of the things that comes to my mind is the focus is very much on violence, unearthing of the violence from within. Why not look at other aspects of immigrant or refugees' life?
The question is about the focus, as he sees it, on violence in the film, and why not focus on other aspects of the migrant or the refugee life?
Ça parle quand même, le film parle beaucoup d'intégration.
Well, the movie talks a lot about the way that the migrants integrate themselves in the
Et
French
comment
community.
et est-ce que des gens comme les personnages de ce film vont retrouver une possibilité de s'aimer?
And the film talks a lot about how the characters could find the characters like them, like the one that are portrayed in the film, will find a way to love themselves.
Parce que moi, c'est ça qui m'intéressait en fait dans le film.
That's what interested me.
Entre autres, c'était l'histoire de cette fausse famille qui en devenait une vraie.
Well, what was interesting, and it's true, I'm translating and I'm thinking also as a writer, what was interesting for us was to write about that family and how a false family will become a real one and how they're being forced into that.
Alors la violence, elle vient à la fin.
So violence come at the end, like a memory.
Yes, exactly.
Like a bad memory.
You're the writer. Do an effort, please.
No, the violence come at the end, but it comes like something that's been repressed all along, and it's like a bad memory of a past.
Mais moi, j'ai toujours besoin de la violence à un moment donné j'ai souvent besoin de la violence
I
dans un
often
film.
need violence in the film at one point.
Parce que c'est le moment où je passe finalement d'un code assez réaliste.
It's the moment when I come from, when I stop being that realistic, very realistic.
Un code strictement cinématographique.
I get really into cinema at that moment, when I get into the
C'est le
violence.
moment où on se dit, tiens, le héros est invulnérable.
It's the moment when you think the hero cannot fail.
Et donc c'est un héros.
And so he is a hero.
We are going to have to leave it there, unfortunately. I just want to thank you again for the film, Jaques Audiard.